We're going through the motions here to see if everything goes according to plan. And hopefully, when we get guests on, we can definitely see how this plays along. Oh, there we go. Maybe like that. If this comes in, there, go there. All right, charging up sequence. All right, so we got a few. I did that. Okay, so we got a few new stuff going on. Let me break it down to you guys as far as what we're checking out, what we're looking at. I need to drop this further down. Oh, no audio detected. I don't know. I did the stupid test. Did the stupid test. Dude, I'm gonna mess here. Did the stupid test. Why is it messing with me? Hey, that's on. Hey, no sound detected. I was doing the test. Hello? Let's see this. Hello? Pause the live. Got 3 minutes. Alright, but let's just get this show on the road here. Um, okay, so let's see if we can do this. All right, so there's a few things oh, that just came across my feed here. So I'm gonna go through them as fast as I can here. Um, all right, so UFO was caught on camera near a commercial airliner in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Let me see if that image can come up. This thing is like directly over top of the sounds change. I wonder if like it's like coming in and out the audio. This is made for like literally for a cell phone, and I'm testing it to see if it comes out for uh the tablet. Hey, what's up, Foil? How you doing, brother? I'm a bit quiet. Okay, so I got it on the low end, so maybe I can just bring it up. Bring it up, so I don't hurt anybody's ears. I'm gonna bring it up. How's that sound? I can bring it up to nominal. I don't know if that's gonna. This is nominal, 100%. Yeah, but because when I was doing the testing, better. Okay, all right, let's go with that then. And then when the recording comes out, then I can listen to it myself and see. But yeah, this is literally for a cell phone. I got it for, and I plugged it to the USB port over here. So, all right, so yeah, there's a UFO that was caught over top of a Brazilian airport at Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it looks like an orb that flies right over this. Like the craft is right here, and it comes right next to it. So that's pretty unique. See if I can open up the screen here. It's telling me to go to the website. I don't know if it's going to kill my feed because I'm on live and I'm on like 3 different platforms. So that's Sao Paulo, right? See if I do it now. Open feed. And, I'm trying to make the screen fully big. I'm not gonna bother. Basically, hey Brad, how you doing, brother? Yeah, so basically a UFO right over top of a commercial airliner, and it's clear as day too. So I'm probably gonna talk about that this afternoon. Post about it. Let's see what else is going on. This what's going across my feed. Yeah, those guys, man. Those guys took a shit. All right, this was 20 minutes ago. This was on UFO Reddit. Dr. Eric Davis on reverse engineering. Definitely no aircraft system has leverage anything, and there's no one to reproduce. Yeah, we already talked about that. These guys and Reddit are just coming on to it. That's how far ahead we are as far as information is goes, right? It's pretty cool to be ahead of the curve, right? Uh, why did President Harry Truman sign the first presidential emergency action following the UFO and UAP crash in Roswell immediately after the crash? All right, we want to touch back to that one. That's on Reddit too. Chuck Schumer still wants to tell you what the government knows about UFOs. Chuck Schumer and Republican Senator Mike Brown's authority of the craziest bill. Okay, this I'm just hearing this right now. What is this crazy bill? The craziest bill in Congress history, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Disclosure Act, the UAPDA, non-human intelligence appears 22 times in a UAPDA bill. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. So this UAPB bill, I'm going to open this website. Hopefully it doesn't give me the subscribe because I'm not subscribing to crap. So far, so good. This is recent disclosure. This was on RUFO Reddit. So, so this shows up 25 times in the bill. Okay. No, I haven't. I haven't. Grush Knight. I don't know who Grush Knight is. All right, so here it is. Non-human intelligence appears 22 times in the UAPDA, and this bill contains shocking sentences that drove me down a rabbit hole. Nice. Per Section 10 of the UAPD, the federal government shall exercise eminent domain over any and all recovery technology of all. Bro, this bill, bro. Oh, snap. This is epic. Check this out. This says it, yo. This says it straight the hell up, man. This says it straight up. Oh, David Grush. Um, I've I what I heard about the only thing recent I heard about David Grush is he was going around the government talking about Stephen Greer being a Russian asset. That's the only thing recently that I heard. And then Stephen Greer has filed a lawsuit to to Grush to shut the hell up and stop saying a whole bunch of nonsense about Stephen Greer. That's the only thing I heard re- about him. I don't know if you're telling about that, what he's saying. But this right here, bro, this new bill right here, man, this is is truly epic, okay? All right, so let me get into it what it says, okay? So in the bill, uh UAPDA, right? He has abused the position of something of IC cat, and he whistle blue is apparently created. Also, you're saying that the rumors going around that David Grush information is total BS. Sweet, I appreciate it, fool. You're the man. All right, so check this out. Let's get back to this bill. All right, so this new bill, this is crazy. This is crazy with disclosure. This new bill is called UAPDA. Okay, the bill contains shocking sentences. Driving, drove it drove this shit down the rabbit hole. Okay, all right, let me get into it. Per Section 10 of the UAPDA, the federal government shall exercise eminent domain over any and all recovery technology unknown origin, biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private person or identities in interest of the public good. Translation, right? If you're a private company and holding on the UFO technology or a non-body, the government has the right to take from them. And I know it's the hardest measure to accept, but I didn't write it. The Senate minority leader did. A bill he has and his colleagues and still passing in law. So check that out, man. That sounds awesome, right? So this is all fake for all the people. This is all fake. This is all fake. All this UFO's fake, right? Oh my god. But yet they're making a bill saying, yo, if you're a private industry that has AKA recovery agency or recovery group of guys coming out and collecting um, biologicals or UFO or UAP craft, and you're taking it and you're back engineering this thing. Yo, the government has every right to take that crap from you. Period. Why haven't they passed this bill by now? I mean, why didn't they do this years ago? Why they haven't done this years ago? I don't know. It makes no sense. Why do it now? Right? Hey, A70. Sí, yo hablo español, pero yo no lea muy bueno español. Saludos desde Ecuador. Saludos de Ecuador, mi primo. Todo está bien. The problem is, though, they can just say no, not go, anything. Unfortunately, I don't think it will help. Bro, the fact that they're writing this bill, let me see if I can pop into this thing to go to your. Alright, so it's on congress.gov right now. This is the bill on congress.gov. This is legit. Alright, so there's going to be a whole bunch of stupid jargon here. Alright, so page. I want to see how it shows up in the. Okay, so you guys are able to find this yourself? Okay, so the amendment is 2610 with 118th Congress, right? So amendment 2610, okay? So that's the amendment. All right, 2610. So you can do it. Well, how you go about doing it, so you can look at for the bill for yourself, right? You go to congress.gov, okay, guys? Congress.gov. Then you would put in SA 2610, or you can just put in the search engine 2610. But for all intents and purposes, put SA 2610, congress.gov, if you're just getting here, right? All right, Mr. Rounds for himself, Mr. Schoomer, submitted amendment intended to be proposed by him to the bill of S 4638 to authorize appropriation to fiscal year of 2025 for military activities of the Department of Defense, for military construction, and for defense activity of the Department of Energy, and describe military personnel strengthened physicality of the year, and for all purposes which were ordered to lie in the table in the following, in an appropriate place, inserted the following divisions. Okay? Unidentified anomaly, phenomenon, disclosure. Yo, this is in a bill, bro. In a bill. This is real life. And we can find it. This is beautiful. Okay, Section 1, sorted title. This division may be cited as Unidentified Anomaly Phenomenon Disclosure Act of 2024 or the UAP Disclosure Act of 2024. Okay? So this is where we lie. Trying to check the time. I got no time on the screen. Oh, there it is, 1:48. Gotta pick up the kids later, so I'm like trying to make sure I'm on the same spectrum. If you guys are hearing this for the first time, I'm hearing it. So I haven't even saved it yet. This is super interesting. All right, short title. This division may decide the Unidentified Anomaly Phenomenon Disclosure Act 2024. Okay, I already read that. Section 2, finding clarification and purposes. A. Finding the clarification crime defined and declare the following. All federal government recording and related to unidentified anomaly phenomena should be preserved and centralized for historic and federal government purposes. All right. So basically, not only are they going to record this, they're going to be storing this information. So hopefully, it's not going to be stuck in a skiff for a crazy amount of time before it's disclosed. All federal government recording concerning unidentified anomaly phenomena should be carried. Presumption of the immediate disclosure. All records should be eventually disclosed to anomaly the public to become fully informed by the history of the federal government acknowledgement of involvement surrounding identified anomalies. What I just said, basically, it's all going to be recorded. It's going to all be held, and eventually they're going to disclose it. When they're going to disclose it, I appreciate the gift. You're just coming in here, Astra. But there's people saying it. Bella says they will probably just shift all the tech to another country so they don't have to disclose. Right, right. Esther, you're just coming in here. I just discovered they did a bill. It's called AS 2610. You can go to congress.gov, and this is pretty much the parameters of any unidentified craft that crashed. This is in a bill that let me go back to the subtitles so you know where we're going, because I went through the whole. I'm going to start reading a whole bunch of jargon. Ooh, I went somewhere. I went somewhere. I didn't want to go somewhere. Don't do this to me. Uh, Recent read. That's where I want to go. Go here, and I'm going to save it because it refreshed on me right as I was talking. It refreshed on me. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. All right, so how the bill goes, right? Um, we're reading through it, okay? So this bill mentions about UAPs about 22 times, okay? And in one of the sections, per section 10 of this UAPDA bill, they have this very interesting part, okay? Per Section 10 of the UAP, this is where like delicious. The federal government shall exercise eminent domain over and all recovery technology of unknown origin. Right? I love that part, right? Unknown origin. Origin. And biological evidence. Why would they put that in the bill if it's not real? Why would they put that in a bill if it's not real? If it's not real, right? Biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or identities in interest of the public good. Translation, right? So they in that bill they admit that there's something to being recovered by non-human. They admit in that bill. This is disclosure right here, dude. This in itself is disclosure that they admit in the bill that they're recovering non-biological, non-human. Right? Those two sentences admit that's an omission right there. That is non-human, and the biological stuff is non-human. That's omission right there. That bill in itself. If you guys are wondering, Bill 2610. That's omission right there by itself, right? That's omission right there. They would not put that in a bill if it did not exist. Period. Why would it? Why would you don't see a bill of Sasquatch on the bill? Uh, find it. Find Bigfoot on the bill. Find ghosts on the bill. I mean, a Congress bill. This is legitimate. Congress. You go to Congress.gov. And it is a legitimate bill. Okay. So what is it? Mermaids. You shall not touch mermaids and any. You see what I'm saying? They don't have unless it legitimately exists. Because otherwise, it's no reason to put this in a bill. It doesn't make no sense. Why would you put that in a bill at all? Right? That makes no sense at all. And anybody that tells you otherwise, they apparently haven't been in the field for very long because they don't know about they're not aware about these bills that are being passed that specifically state about non-extraterrestrial phenomena, non-human and non-human biologicals. Why would you state in that in a bill if you're not referring to this phenomenon, right? It says in the bill 22 times UAP. Spreads those out. If it didn't exist, if it's not real, they wouldn't put it in the bill. They're using that preference to explain this bill. So it's like that in itself is mind blowing. Considering all that I'm checking my little mic here, making sure it's still green, right? So when anybody is like, anybody ever tell you, hey, that crap ain't real, man? It's like, then why is Congress passing bills on it? What do you mean? Congress is passing bills on non-terrestrial, non-human recovery. Example, the bill 2610 names it 22 times on non-terrestrial, freaking non-human biological stuff. Like that, they have eminent domain to recover any for the layman, right? Is a yo, if an alien craft crash here and it's on our property, we have eminent domain. Period. It's our stuff. So you guys, if you're a private enterprise trying to recover alien technology, you gotta understand what has happened recently is what happened recently is that recently there was a company that was created in 2024, right? And you can look it up. It's on the Nasdaq right now. It's a stock, and it's basically a they invest in companies that would back engineer alien tech. They invested about 80% of their net worth, right? So that it's a hedge fund. If you guys are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, so the hedge fund looks for basically aerospace companies that would invest in these companies, in these corporations that are back engineering, are what's another term they use is it's called um something propulsions, exotic propulsions, or exotic. That I don't know why they use the term exotic. I'm not a lawyer, but they use terms like exotic. Well, I think this is why they're making the bill, Bella. I think this is why they're making the bill. Uh, because of Lockheed Martin supposedly has technology, supposedly have not given it to the government, supposedly is putting the recent technology information up on display for sale for anybody to buy it now. I think that's why this bill is starting to come up to fruition. So if we wanna go if we wanna get behind this, right? It's obvious to me that Mr. Schumer knows a lot more than he's letting on. Mr. Schumer has the inside knowledge. This is for all you guys, TikTok creators. If we want to get some insider scoop, we might have to get Mr. Schumer to talk to us on one-on-one situation where you get an appointment with him, we show up at his office and ask him some legitimate questions. Like, why would you put this in a bill if this phenomena doesn't exist? Why would you put this in a bill if this why would you put it in the bill at all? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Why would a, this bill of magnitude be created if the phenomenon and biologicals are not being recovered? Unless it is being recovered and you're systematically passing bills now because what has happened is basically uh, independent corporations independently are now selling the material or selling information to the highest bidder. And guess who paid for it? We paid for it, right? We paid for it with our American dollars, and now they're supposedly putting it up on the market for whoever pays for the most of it, right? So that's food for thought, right? So let's go down this bill. The bill is SA 2610. Mr. Rounds for himself, and Mr. Schumer submitted an amendment intended to propose by him to the bill of S 4638 to authorize appropriation for fiscal year 2025 for military activities of the Department of Defense, for military construction, and for defense activities of the Department of Energy to describe military personnel strengthening for such fiscal year and other purposes which was ordered to lie on the table as following. All right, so this is basically what they're adding it to a existing bill, right? So the existing bill that is they're stating is 4638, and this is supposed to be add on to that bill. This 2620 26 2610. Okay. All right. So at the appropriate place, insert the following. This is what they're going to insert. This bill is supposed to insert into the existing bill 4638. All right. So this is what they want to insert. All right. At the appropriate place, insert the following. Division Unidentified Anomaly Phenomenon Disclosure. Hello, Glory. The division cited as Unidentified Phenomenon Disclosure Act of 2024, UAP Disclosure Act of 2024. Finding and declaration and purposes. Finding, declaration, and purposes. Finding declaration, Congress declares the following. All federal government reporting related to unidentified anomaly phenomena should be preserved, centralized for historic federal government purposes. Okay, it should be a government recording, not private government recording, right? Everything related to this phenomenon is going to be in government section hands, not private enterprise. So you guys get what I'm the legit. Federal government recording concerns unidentified anomaly phenomena should be carried and presumption of immediate disclosure. Whoa. Let me read this again. All federal government reports concerning unidentified anomaly phenomena should carry a presumption of immediate disclosure, and all records should be eventually disclosed, enable the public to become fully informed about the history of the federal government, acknowledgement, and involvement surrounding unidentified anomalous phenomena. Did I read that right? Did I read that right, dude? The only thing I have here is, yo, my feet are tingling, right? The only problem I have here is, no, it does say immediate. It says immediate. All federal government reporting concerning unidentified anomaly phenomena should be carry a presumption of immediate disclosure, and all records should be eventually, okay, it says eventually disclosed to enable the public to become fully informed about the history of the federal government and acknowledgement of involved surrounding identifying anomaly phenomena. Legislation is necessary to create and reinforcement independent and accountability of process of public disclosure of such record. All right, so the recording and it should immediately disclose, but then it says eventually. That's what pisses me off. Eventually, eventually could be forever. Exactly. Eventually could be fucking our grandkids. Grandkids are gonna find out. It's like we're gonna let you guys know. Immediately, eventually, like mother crappers, right? So, okay. Legislation is necessary because credible evidence and testimony indicates that the federal government identified anomaly. Every time they do that, that whole freaking title, I'm just gonna put UAP, okay, guys? Because there's a lot. Okay, UAP records that have not been declassified, subject to mandatory declassification reviews as set forth by the Executive Order 13526, 50 USC 3161, no, related to classified and national, where I due to part examined under the Atomic Energy Act of 1950, the U.S. and will overbroad over-interpretations of transclassification foreign nuclear information, which will also examine the monetary declassification, thereby preventing public disclosure. I'm getting text messages. That's the thing. Disclosure under existing provisions of the law. Legislation is necessary because of Section 552 of the title of Unidentified Codings and Comment refers to the Freedom of Information Act and implementing that the executive branch of the timely public disclosure of the government identified. This is, bro. If you guys are in UFO right now, man, this is a whole freaking loop. This is a whole loop right here because it's basically stating that the phenomena exist and uh, that they have been informed that the information that has been basically recorded have been under a segment of coding that would result in no not declassification. So this basically they found a loophole for them not to disclose, and this is it's explaining that the coding that is for classification under security at that moment is not able to disclose to the public ever. So this is as it will enable, uh, unfortunately, eventually coming out, and it's going to be recorded. So there is a process to enable declassification, right? So that inherently would open up a door, okay? And unfortunately, what is going to happen is that everything prior to this moment, if this bill passes, all the information prior to that bill that has been sequences, basically being classified under the provisions under a security act of all the information that was been basically classified under that segment will never be disclosed. That kind of stuff, right? Like we're never gonna know if Roswell was uh, the situations and events that was recorded there. That's in a segment of classification that will never be resolved and disclosed to the public. Because that classification is locked, bold, and cold, so it's never going to be unlocked. But this provision is going to be able to be under a security clearance, lock key, but we have the key to eventually open. So that's the problem. What it has been happening is that the Security Act to disclose, they have it recorded and sectioned off, but we're never going to be able to open it because the provisions of the coding of this being basically secured under a vault of national security, those provisions were never enacted. So this doesn't say retrofit or what's another term they use? Uh, 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 current files that are been classified, but this is saying ongoing forth. You know what I'm saying? And anything that has classified security clearance would have provisions for it to be complete disclosure to the public. So that's good, but I haven't read so far anything about anything with provisions under previous coding as far as security clearance and stuff like that, and what they're going to do proactive from what they call it, like radio fit or something like that, is a term they use. And basically, it's like any clarifications from the past that has been classified can be able to be radio fit to the new classification of this bill, which I haven't heard anything of that term. So that kind of sucks. That anything that was under the security clearance that they have that was under the provisions, they don't have any um, way to open it to disclose it because it's under the open. So, but I mean, the good news is as we go forward, and they have discovered we're going to be, they're going to have the key to eventually unlock that and inform the public fully about that aspect. Dave says they will say it can't be released for 50 years or 100 years like they done with the JFK. Well, that's the thing. Um, this bill, so what I'm understanding, that the segment of security clearance that the UAP and the alien stuff were under, um, doesn't have those provisions. Meaning they don't have the provision to disclose 50 to 100 years. They don't have a provision to unlock it ever. That's the problem. That's the problem. The classification, the coding that they had for Roswell of 1962, of other events, right? The autopsy of alien interview, anybody that was involved in all that kind of stuff, that was under a provision that they will never have to disclose that information to the public. So that kind of sucks for us as far as what that's being said under this, which kind of leaves us into a limbo of information, right? But provided with this bill, we're going to be able to whatever current new information is be come out and what current stuff is coming out with UAPs that we have the key at least to eventually open it up. So that's one of the things that we were able to do with this bill if it's passed. That's another thing. This is on so you guys know if you're just coming in here, you can find this bill. It's in Congress.gov, the actual real bill. The bill amendment is 2610, and it's they're putting provisions into existing bill that exist. The existing bill is 4638. So, but how you go about it, you go through, you put in the search engine s.amdt.2610. Okay, and that would be the current Congress. That's the 118th Congress, which that comes up automatically. So you go. Amendment Bill S 4638 is a current bill. So this bill is supposed to put provisions in existing. Okay. Now this bill talks about 22 times of UAPs, and the provisions basically what this the section I'm reading right now is how the classifications is able to be open to the public eventually, and his provision for that to happen. So that's huge, right? So I don't know why they didn't have provisions for certain classifications, and I don't know if those certain classifications are going to be you're not allowed to use them. Not a problem. That's another problem I have with this. It's like, all right, so if this bill is has a new provisions for classification, right? Does that mean that these old bill provisions for classifications is null and void? As far as I mean, is no longer able to use those classifications or provisions? Because as far as I'm concerned, yeah, you got this new classification of security clearance, right? That you can eventually open to the public as far as this phenomenon. But uh, the old provisions to classify other to that's been used, the old ones, the old provisions, can they still use that, or is that null and void now? 2025, and that's another thing. They state 2025 is the conjuncture of the beginning of it. They don't want to talk about past. They don't want to talk about anything past or anything shady in the past. They don't want to talk about any. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to disclose that. They want to shape the narrative from here on out. Things that are disclosed because God willing, they don't want to say all the shady stuff they did in the past and how many people were involved in killings and basically making people crazy and losing their lives and all this other stuff, right? They don't want to. They don't want to answer all that because that's a lot of explanation, right? And people are involved in that. So basically, here on out, 2025, and of course, the old bill that they're putting this added section in came out in 2024, 2023. So 4638 was the bill that they're going to revise and add this section. So you guys are understanding. So where I was in section 4, legislation is necessary because the credible evidence. That's another thing. Credible evidence and testimony indicates that the federal government unidentified anomaly phenomena recorded existing that have not been declassified or subjected to mandatory declassification review as set forth. But this is what we were talking about, that they is no provisions to declassify under the current stuff that they have classified. That's what we're talking about. anomaly recording existing that have not been declassified or subject to any mandatory declassification review as set forth by the Executive Order 13.526, 50 U.S.C. 3161 notes uh, related to classified national security information due in part to examination under the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, 42 USA 2011 sequence, as well as overbroad interpretation of the classification of foreign nuclear information, which also examines the minority of declassification, thereby preventing public disclosure under existing provisions of the law. So that's basically what we were saying. That this protocol never had they don't have there's no current enemy to disclose crap. They don't as soon as this is classified, they can keep it forever. Legislation is necessary for the Section 552 of Title United States Code, commonly refers to as Freedom of Information Act, as implemented by the executive branch of timely public disclosure of government identified subject matter declassified review. So typically, this is you could declassify stuff with the FOIL Act, but because they didn't have the provisions for if you enact the FOIL Act to declassify stuff, um, you were never able to get this in the FOIL Act or anything like that. So they had no precursor for you to ever give it to the public. So yeah, just restating. Legislation is necessary to afford complete, timely access to all knowledge gained by the federal government concerning unidentified anomaly phenomena, and furtherance of comprehensive open scientific technology and development essential to avoid or mitigate potential knowledgeable surprise or furtherance of urgent national security concerns in public. That's interesting that they state that. That basically the reason why they want to do this is so scientists also can get involved in this and we don't have any surprises as far as basically a process of disclosing to the public if it's minimal for scientists to get their hands on this. Because if you lock this down key, no research is going to be made on this subject. And that would kind of suck, right? And I think that's one of the hints of this. Surprises are further hints of urgent national security concerns and public interest. Purposes. Purpose of this division are provided for creation of unidentified anomaly for records or collections at the National Archives and Record Administration, and to require expedient public transmission to the archive, public disclosure of such records. Section 3, definitions and division. Archives, the term archive, okay. Oh, this word means this, that word means that. The term collection means unidentified collections of records, controlled disclosure campaign plan. The term disclosure campaign requires by the Section 9 controls authority. A term controlled by authority means state or local government, department of office, divisions, commissions, commercials, or physical possessions of technology of unknown origin or biological evidence of non-human intelligence. Director, the term director means the director of the office of the government. Ethics. Bro, no wonder people don't like to read this stuff, man. It is boring jargon. Identification aid. The term identification aid means the written description prepared for the record as. All right, let's go to section 12. National Archive. The term National Archive. We're still in this definition. Okay. Non-human intelligence. Non-human intelligence. The term non-human intelligence means any. Oh, bro. I was gonna skip over this. I was gonna skip over this. Under under explanation of terms and terminologies in this bill, under explanation of terms and terminologies in this bill, I gotta go soon. But under explanations of terms and terminologies being used in this bill, section 13. There's two items here. 13 and 14. 13. Non-human intelligence. The term non-human intelligence means, so this is not for up for interpretation, guys, means any sentient, intelligent, non-human life form, regardless of nature or unlimited origin, that may be presumed responsible for of unidentified anomalous phenomena or in which the federal government has become aware. Dude, this is crazy, dude. Right? I just blew my load right here. This is crazy. All right. That in itself is omission, bro. That's omission. Okay, 14. Ordinating body. The term ordinating body means the executive agency or federal government commission of creative records of particular information. Bro, that if that's not omission, why put that there? Why put that there? If it didn't exist. If it didn't exist, why put that there? Why are they saying that if it doesn't exist? And then we got some more jargon here. Uh, Ordinating bodies. Okay, we already just read that, right? They're talking about committees. They're talking about federal government. They're talking about commissions, bodies that are admitted by federal governments, identified by record, in particular. Okay, we got that one. Prosaic attributions of the prosaic attributions means having a human or either foreign or domestic origin and understood science, engineering principles of established law of nature, not contributing to non-human intelligence. Prosaic contributions. Okay. Public interest. Well, we public interest sounds self-explanatory, right? The term public interest means the compelling interest in the prompt public disclosure of identified anomaly phenomenon regarding for historic and government purposes, for purposes of full information to the people of the United States about the history of the federal government acknowledgement and involvement surrounding unidentified anomaly phenomena. Bro, those things going to get frustrating with us. I know, right, dude? It's a lot of jargon to go through, man. But I like how they break this down. Review board. The term review board uh means the unidentified anomaly phenomena record review board established by Section 7. We gotta look at Section 7 to see what the review board entails. I know this is some boring stuff for some of you guys. So just remember that Section 7. Technology of unknown origin. The term technology of unknown origin means the material or metamaterials, ejecta, crash, debris, mechanism, machinery, equipment, assembly or sub-assembly, engineering models, or domestic or interactive ocean surface undersea craft associated with unidentified anomalies or undersea craft associated with unidentified anomaly phenomenon or incorporated science or technology that lacks prosaic contributions of unknown means of human manufacturing. Bro, that is section 19. That's section 19. Right there, they admit the aircraft are being found where? In the sea, where? On land, and not on non-human manufacture. That's section 19, bro. That is section 19. That in itself is nutty. That's to know that. And the term they're using is prosaic. That is crazy. Hi, Buttercup. That is crazy. All right, so we went through that. So section 19 is really interesting. What they say. 14. So 14, 19 of definitions of the terms they're using. Very interesting. All right, temporarily non-contribution object. In general, the term temporary non-contribution object prosaic contributions of initial observance of results of environmental or system limitations associated with observation of nevertheless ultimate have unaccepted human origin or non-physical causes, although a temporary non-contribution object. There are not temporarily non-attributed objects to two categories: mutual exclusion. Man, that's a lot of jargon, dude. That was hefty too right there. In conclusion, the term temporarily non-contribution object includes natural, celestial, meteorological, and undersea weather phenomena. Okay? So basically the term temporarily non-contributed object. Okay? So that's not here or there. This is basically general, a general object. Could be celestial, natural celestial, meteorological, underweather, or weather phenomena. All right, so we just got to page 49, 44 in this bill amendment. So I'm going to cut it here. This is a good section to cut this off. I might just keep reading through here because it goes into Navy Department. It goes to including what previous described as bro, bro. Oh my god! Ah! I mean, they don't leave any room for interpretation. They're breaking this down. They're breaking this down hardcore. Example, they're literally stating verbatim, like, no, this is what we mean. This is what we mean. This is what we mean. They're not leaving any space for interpretation for this. They're not. They're actually completely not. Like this right here. The phenomena including what were previous described. All right. So UAP, UFO, recently, blah blah blah. They're stating, they're stating this that this phenomenon that was identified under different terminologies, meaning these terminologies. flying disc, flying saucer, unidentified aerial phenomenon, unidentified flying objects, UFOs, unidentified submerged objects, USO. Unidentified for anomaly records the term. They're bringing all these categories together, saying this is all the descriptions fall into this. So the new UAP phenomenon or categorization for this entails all these prior descriptions. So they're not leaving any interpretation for anything, dude. They're following. They're not letting anybody like try to misunderstand this at all. So yeah, they're going. I want to see where here because they're including departments. Department of War, Department of Army, Navy, Air Force, the Air Force, Pacific Air Force Office. I want to get into this because I don't see SpaceX. Food for thought. All right, guys, you guys take care, man. Because that's hefty, dude. That is hefty. Hopefully the audio was good enough. The cross feed wasn't too crazy, but this is super meaty, man. And it's not, and we just got into this, but they're not leaving any interpretation for anybody to misunderstand this because they're like, no, we're not playing around. You guys gonna understand that this is the real McCoy. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'm definitely going to go into a deep conversation with ChatGPT to cross-reference this. If you guys are interested in hearing the ChatGPT talk, I might just live stream that live with you guys, and hopefully we can just get through a lot more information than us just reading it verbatim, and see what conclusions ChatGPT will get from this new. Um, you know, so that's definitely pretty interesting. All right, you guys take care, man. I hope you guys enjoy and keep the eyes to the sky. Right? Take care. Kind of, live. Kind of live.